I just wanted to sit down with you guys for a minute and explain to a lot of my newer subscribers what the boys' diagnosis are, where they were adopted from, how old were they when they were adopted, all of these general questions that I know most of you probably already know. Guys, it's about noon. We just got home from Narcise's therapy session. I'm exhausted. I'm worn very thin right now. So Narcise did amazing. He did awesome at his therapy session. The girls were so good. They played and they behaved themselves. But Aiden, you guys, he had probably the worst time I've seen him have in over 2 years. I haven't seen the type of behavior that I saw today since probably a couple hours after we got him out of the orphanage. Just that pure, complete and total panic. And I don't know what it was necessarily. I don't know what caused it. He started out okay, and then he started, you know, his kind of normal whining or whatnot. And but then it just turned into an all-out self-injurious fit. I mean, it was, I have no words to describe to you how bad it was. He has, and I don't know if this is a contributing factor, but he's got mosquito bites again. And I got this today. I had some bug spray on him yesterday when he was outside, but I went and got the backwoods stuff, hoping that maybe that would help. So I put a little bit of that on him, because they like attack him even just going from the house to the van. And it's the strangest thing, because I don't get them, my girls don't get them, like nobody else seems to get bitten by mosquitoes, and I don't even see the mosquitoes. So I'm like, I don't know what it is. Anyway, I don't know if the mosquito bites are bothering him to some sort of ridiculous degree, and that's why he had the fit. But we got him there and he started biting his hand, he started hitting his head, and I don't mean just like a little bit, I mean hard enough to make himself bleed and puncture skin. I'll be right back. I've got to change him real quick. So obviously, you guys, he's happy now. Do y'all see his arm? Those are mosquito bites. He's highly allergic to mosquitoes. I just gave him half a pill of Benadryl with some applesauce, so I'm hoping that'll help a little bit. But y'all look at his head. He's got one on his head too. I'm wondering if that's a contributing factor as to why he was acting the way he was, but like he was scaring people in the office. Like there were people coming out like trying to help and like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? Like we've just never seen him like this. And I haven't seen him like that in years. Years. Look at his face, you guys. Oh my goodness. I bet that's it. That has to be probably not the only reason, but the mosquito bites have to be a big contributing factor, because they look like they itch really bad and he looks miserable. I'm gonna also put some calamine lotion on them. Man, it stinks because I always put bug spray on him. Sometimes, you guys, as a parent, no matter how diligent you are and how careful you are, things still happen to your kids. And it stinks, and I just hate it for them, and I feel like, man. Anyway, you need to go out? No, I don't know what the dog's doing. It was a rough morning. I'm exhausted. I had plans to go by the bank, and I had a bunch of errands that I needed to run, and I can't do any of those, because the second we get out of the house, this little guy just can't handle it. He's already starting up again, you guys. Is that a smile or a fuss? I can't even tell. And then, for a little bit of it, I was certain it was his stomach, because he would cry in like bursts. Like, it would be like super upset, crying, can't handle things, and then he'd be okay. And then he'd be super upset, and then he'd be okay. So I was like, maybe his stomach was hurting and it was coming in like waves. I don't know. Oh, it's so hard when you have a non-verbal child. They can't tell you. He can't tell me what's wrong or what hurts or what feels bad or what feels off. So I'm just kind of having to guess. And I'm gonna put him down on his bed and let him probably rest for about an hour because he just needs it. And he seems okay now, you guys, but anyway, I'm gonna talk. Also, I have a lot of new subscribers and I really need to go over again with you guys, like, what are the boys' diagnosis? What does their day look like? What are we doing to help them? Etc, because I get daily a lot of questions asking, you know, what is their diagnosis, and a lot of y'all are awesome and you guys answer those questions for me in the comments, like those of you who are older subscribers, but I definitely want to reiterate a little bit of it myself so that I'm the one telling you guys and you're not like hearing it through the grapevine necessarily. Anyway, I'm gonna go get him down to bed for a little bit, and while he's sleeping I'm gonna jump in the shower because I didn't get to do that this morning either, and then I think coffee and laundry is gonna happen. Okay guys, so it is 3:40, it's almost 4 o'clock. I think that 3 out of my 4 kids are currently asleep. I'm pretty sure. I know Narkis is asleep. I know Aiden is asleep. And I haven't heard from Zoe in about an hour. So it's quite possible she's downstairs asleep as well. So, oh, excuse me. Anyway, I just finished editing. I'm sitting here eating a jar of pickles. Is that gross? I don't know. This is my favorite brand of pickles, you guys. The Clausen. Oh my gosh, they're so good. They're always refrigerated. They're never allowed to like get warm or anything like that, and it just makes them taste so good. So I've been having some pickles because my usual snack preference isn't gonna cut it anymore. I've gotta be thinking a little bit more healthy. But anyway, I just finished editing. I need to stop being lazy and get up and fold a little bit of laundry, and I need to check on Narkis because he's been very, very quiet for a very long time. He was falling asleep on the couch, so he said he wanted to go take a nap as well. And I'm pretty sure that's what he's in there doing. Okay guys, so I'm feeling very productive today. I've gotten a lot done. He's had his therapy. Despite Aiden's meltdown, things have been going okay. I got 3 out of the 4 kids registered for school. I'm still looking for a cover school for Aiden in terms of homeschooling. I've got 2 that I'm talking to right now, and I'm trying to decide between the 2. But once I figure that out, then Aiden will also be registered for school. Also, I just spent about half an hour going through my diaper bag and cleaning it out. You guys, this thing was full. I mean, completely full, and I did not think I was gonna get rid of as many things as I did, but look at it now. It's basically empty. I have a hairbrush, I have my wallet, and then I have some hair ties. That is it. That is it. The rest of it was like old business cards and old doctor's notices, and a lot of it was papers. At the end of each therapy session I get a paper that I have to sign that says all their goals and everything, and that was filled up in there. So this diaper bag is basically empty. Also, if you guys are ever looking for the most amazing diaper bag ever, it is this one right here. And or anything, honestly, anything, let's see, anything by Petunia Picklebottom is amazing. I'm not just saying that. This is my 3rd Petunia Picklebottom diaper bag, and I will use them to the ends of the earth because they are amazing. I've had this since Piper was born, and it's holding up amazingly. It's so awesome. Anyway, I think it's called the Sachet Satchel. I think that's what it's called. Cool. That's kind of gross, but cool at the same time.
I don't want a puppy.
We are a gum chewing family this week. Anyway, it's a really great diaper bag. They're not cheap, you guys. I think this one was $250, but let me just say, let me just get this out. $250. I got this when Piper was born. When she was born, and it looks brand spanking new. It's still holding up, no holes, no tears, no rips. I use it on a daily basis. This thing has been through a lot. $250 for 5 years. I think that's a lot of bang for your buck, if I'm being honest. What are you doing? doing, puppy? How is Ghost? How is Ghost? Hey. Oh, stretch. Can you sit? Sit. Sit. Good boy. What a good puppy. What a good puppy. Yes, what a good puppy. A lot of y'all ask about Ghost. He's great. He's the best dog in the world. He's just busy being a good dog. That's all he does. Anyway. I'm done with my diaper bag rant. I just had to say, I think I've said it many times over the years in vlogs that Petunia Pickle Bottom makes the best diaper bags, you guys. It's just a fact. Just a fact. So I just wanted to sit down with you guys for a minute and explain to a lot of my newer subscribers what the boys' diagnosis are, where they were adopted from, how old were they when they were adopted, all of these general questions that I know most of you probably already know, but I think a lot of my newer subscribers don't know. So I'm just gonna reiterate it and say it again. And excuse what I'm wearing, y'all. Someone at my husband's work gave him this shirt. It says Las Vegas, game over. I don't like it. It's okay, because my hair covers it up, right? Anyway. So Narquise and Aiden. Narquise was adopted at the age of 10 and Aiden was adopted at the age of 6. They are both from Kryvyi Rog, Ukraine. They were both residing in the same mental institution. In terms of their diagnosis, Narquise has cerebral palsy and fetal alcohol syndrome. I know that there are varying degrees of cerebral palsy, but for some reason, we've never had a doctor give us a specific, like, this is the type of cerebral palsy he has. Like, we don't know that yet. I think they're still doing testing and they want to see as he gets older because he has been adversely affected from his upbringing. So they're just not sure, and I don't think that his cerebral palsy is severe enough for them to really, I keep looking over here because Narquise is over there, for them to investigate like further with that. And before we even went to Ukraine, like before we even traveled, we had pictures of Narquise and we could tell just by looking at his facial features that he did have fetal alcohol syndrome. So the fetal alcohol syndrome was not something that was a surprise to us. Once we got to Ukraine, they swore up and down he did not have it, that he was never officially diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome in Ukraine. He only had the cerebral palsy. In terms of his diagnosis and severe mental delays as well. But even so, we did realize, you know, that he did have the fetal alcohol syndrome type of facial features, which is, you know, the far-spaced eyes and whatnot. So we got him home and he has been tested, MRI, all of that kind of stuff, and we did get a confirmed diagnosis here in the States of fetal alcohol syndrome in addition to his cerebral palsy. So that is Narquise's diagnosis: cerebral palsy, fetal alcohol syndrome, and some intellectual delays. In terms of Aiden was adopted at the age of 6, you guys. Now, before we even met Aiden, we had a few videos of him and we had a lot of missionaries, well, 2 or 3 missionaries who had met him and really spent a lot of time with him. So we were lucky in that sense because they were able to tell us details about Aiden. Like, he likes this, he doesn't like this, like, this is how he is, you know. So that was a blessing that we knew all of that in advance. So Aiden wasn't, I don't want to say it was like the way he is wasn't a surprise to us, but Aiden's only diagnosis in Ukraine was blindness. That was all he was diagnosed with. He didn't have any other thing listed other than a valgus deformity of the feet, which I still can't understand. I don't know where that came from because his feet look fine to me and to every doctor we have seen. So I don't know if he was an infant and he was examined by a doctor in Ukraine and that's kind of what they saw. I don't know, but we haven't seen any signs of that. However, once we got Aiden home to the States, he was also diagnosed with severe autism, which we knew. So he's severely autistic. We knew that he had total blindness, but we had a confirmed diagnosis of that once we were home. We also found out that he's actually partially deaf in one ear, which isn't a big deal because he can still hear really well, but he does have partial hearing loss in his right ear. and he is on nonverbal, which of course we also knew. What we did not anticipate before adopting Aiden, we didn't anticipate all of these feeding problems. We didn't anticipate him not ever wanting to eat solid food. We didn't anticipate him having this massive struggle with potty training. Those are just things that we had to learn and figure out for ourselves as we got to know our son. And you know, they've both come a really long way. They came home in January of 2014, and we lived with them in Ukraine for 9 weeks before we came home with them. So they've been home, they will have been home 3 years this coming January, which I cannot believe. How has it been 3 years? I don't know. But it's also crazy because I can't remember, I mean, I can remember it, but like, I can't imagine our lives now without them. Like, they're just amazing boys, and as hard as it has all been, we would go do it all again. We absolutely would go do it all again. And in terms of current care for the boys, they're just doing physical therapy right now. For those of you who don't know, I am homeschooling Aiden this upcoming year. He has a lot of difficulty in the public school system, and it's nothing against his teachers, it's nothing against the school itself, nothing like that, because they're great. But he just can't handle that type of environment, the constant busyness, and he's very easily overwhelmed. Some days he would do great in school, but most days he did not do great in school. So we definitely believe that homeschooling him is going to be more beneficial. He's definitely more attentive with me, one-on-one, and we can focus on therapies outside of the home. Like, we can take him to his physical and speech and occupational and feeding therapy, and we can focus on all of those things. Whereas in the public school system, while they did work on those things, they couldn't solely dedicate time to just Aiden because they had other kids in the classroom. So that is why we're homeschooling Aiden this year, or rather why I am homeschooling Aiden this year. And in terms of Narcise's care, he is done with all of his surgeries for the foreseeable future. That's not to say he will never again in his life need a surgery. I'm sure at some point he will, especially as he starts to go through puberty, and things start changing and growing and stretching, all of that kind of stuff. But for now, he is finished with his surgeries. When he first came home, he had a tendon lengthening, and then he had the casting on his legs to keep his legs straight, and basically his feet were like straight. Like, if this is his ankle, this was his foot when he first came home. So he had to have surgery to make his foot malleable and able to bend. So he had that done. And then after he had that, he had a valgus osteotomy. And what a valgus osteotomy is, it's basically a full hip replacement in a sense. I'm not gonna go into graphic detail because it is a fairly graphic surgery, but if you're confused at all, just Google valgus osteotomy, spell it the best way you can, Google will correct you, and you can figure out what that type of surgery that was. And then after the valgus osteotomy, he had his pen removal surgery, which was very minor. It was just a day surgery. He was in and out pretty quickly, and recovered very, very well from that. I think the valgus osteotomy by far was the most difficult surgery that he had to go through. But all of the surgery is so that he can walk and so that he can start to put pressure on his legs and start to build up that muscular strength so he can one day walk. Now, by walk, Narcise will never walk normally. He will never run and walk like you and I run or walk. But he can walk with assistance. We believe he can walk with a cane or a walker, and that is currently our goal. We want him to have that type of independence so that one day he can live by himself or in a group home or have some sort of independent living situation where he's gonna be able to take care of himself to some degree. He'll always need help. He'll always need help with things, but we definitely want him to rely on himself as much as possible. We want him to be able to do as much as possible. And I think in our vlogs, a lot of you guys are like, man, y'all are so hard on Narcise. Man, y'all making him get in his own chair. Like, just pick him up. Like, he has cerebral palsy. He can't do that. No, yes, he can do that. And if we spend our time telling him, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that. And if we baby him and do everything for him, he's never gonna learn a way to cope and to do it on his own. And it's so important for him to learn how to do that. He can open doors, he can get on the toilet himself, he can get on chairs by himself, he can go up and down the stairs, he can put on his own shirt, he can take off his own shirt. You know, he is capable. He's so much more capable than the orphanage staff ever believed that he was. You know, they did everything for him. So our goal as his parents is to make him as individually dependent as possible. Does that make sense? Like, we want him to grow up and be able to live a full and happy life and know how to do for himself. And I just think that's important and something that every child needs to know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I told you guys their diagnosis. They were adopted from Ukraine. They've been home 2.5 years. If there's anything else that I didn't hit on, I'm not gonna hit on traumas and reactive attachment disorder, and I'm just not gonna hit on that this time because it would take me, I would be sitting here for hours, you guys, talking to you guys about all of these different things that come in with special needs adoption. But I did just want to give you guys a brief overview of diagnosis and kind of what's going on with them, because a lot of you guys are confused. Also, the girls are our biological children. We get that all the time. That's probably, it's up there. It's up there with one of the most asked questions of, are the girls adopted too? Where were they adopted from? No, the girls are both our biological children and both boys were adopted. So that is kind of the dynamic of our family. Anyway, we're gonna get back to the normal daily vlog. All right, lovelies, you guys and myself, we're at Publix right now. I'm gonna do a simple, like, easy breakfast supper. So I'm gonna get some eggs and some bread and some sausage, and that's what we're gonna do for dinner. And we're gonna make pancakes because the kids really want pancakes. I don't know though, they're really tired and my husband wants to take them to hunt for Pokemon. So I may have to fix them something else tonight and then do their breakfast supper tomorrow. I don't know. You guys, I'm so frustrated with my hair. Do y'all see this? I have stick straight hair. And it's doing this weird thing where on the ends it's like fuzzing, like it's like, it looks like it's been electrocuted on the ends. And I don't curl my hair and I don't blow dry my hair, at least not often enough to have any like damage from it. So I'm kind of like, it's not damage, like I don't see split ends, but oh my heck, it's just, you can't really tell on camera, but it's just like psh, fuzzy. I don't know, maybe it dried weird. Anyway, I'm gonna run in here and get what I need. And then I'm gonna go home and make some supper for my kiddos. It's already 6:30, so I guess it's gonna be a late night. That's okay. Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close out today's vlog. And yeah, I'm out of breath. I just ran all over the house like picking up stuff and whatever. So anyway, if you liked what you saw, give the video a big thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe if you are new. And don't forget, always live to inspire. Bye guys. Wait, hold on. I forgot to mention something to you guys. So, I haven't mentioned this yet because I didn't want to make a big deal about it. I don't want there to be a big hoopla over it or anything like that. But I've had a lot of you ask me over the last 6 months or so if we had a Patreon page. For those of you who don't know what Patreon is, it is a website that you can set up and you can offer monthly donations, and I think you can even do one-time donations. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not totally sure. But I finally set one up. We do have a family Patreon page. If you would like to support us, that is awesome. If you don't, that's awesome too. I don't want anybody to feel obligated. It is just to help with things like medical expenses, home repairs, video equipment, just normal things like that. And yeah, I don't know, I always feel weird like opening up things like that, but there are a few of you guys that are awesome and amazing, and you guys really just want to give what you can, and we so appreciate it. And I'm always reminded not to stifle the Lord's gifts, you know, if God is blessing us in whatever way it may be. So if you would like to donate to our Patreon page, it is always going to be listed in the description box. Again, don't feel obligated. This is not something I'm going to push. This is not something I'm going to talk about in every single video. But I did just want to bring it up that we do have one for those of you who were asking and are interested. Also, some of our patrons will also receive like some bonuses. You know, you'll get extra video clips that maybe didn't go into the daily vlog, or you'll get a prize every now and then for top contributors, or and I don't know. I don't really know how it works, honestly. I just set it up about a week ago and I haven't even really delved too much into it myself, but it is listed below. So okay, again, bye guys.